Hello and welcome to Hardcast. Join us as we discuss the most convoluted method of returning Shadow Man to the Valiant universe. I'm Humphrey Erm.
And I'm Christian Claus.
Lifeline. Give me Ninjak Volume 3 Operation Deadside. Issue 10. A creature known as Ember kidnaps Faker from an MI6 research center, creating a huge incident in the process. After having sent in a squad of 20, only to fail, MI6 is now sending Ninjak and Punk Mambo to the Deadside to retrieve Faker. They're not fond of each other, but are professional about it, with Ninjak donning some cool looking gear for infiltrating the Deadside. After huffing paint, Punk Mambo captures Aloha and makes it do her bidding, which involved creating a portal to the Deadside. They don't get far though, because Ember spots them and summons a weird bird dragon to carry them off and drop them off on an island. Out of sight, out of mind. In the side story, we are introduced to Magpie, Shadow Man's new persona, as errand boy for Master Dark. We see him searching for some magical object, but he feels compassion for the family that's keeping it, and lets them escape, despite the pain from the ropes that bind him to Master Dark. Alright, I gotta say, for me, this was just like a nice, in general, adventure.
Okay.
It's kind of fun having some little more magic, I guess. Because I always felt that was kind of Shadow Man's, I'm not gonna say gimmick, but kind of like their section, I guess, of the universe. Because we have like the more sci-fi stuff with most of the characters, the psychic kind of things with Harbinger. And then this always felt like it was the more magic thing. Issue 11.
Wait, did you have questions for me?
So, no, yes, I thought you were going to say something on your own accord.
No, I mean, there's nothing much to say. I didn't really like it, honestly. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I figured that's what
not
you would have said after I said I liked it.
No, I'm just not a huge magic fan. It's just. I don't know. It was just kind of a very typical story, and I don't know. I mean, I don't think I really enjoy Ninjak that much. Like, not in every story he's in. It's not like with Gilad you can put him into any story and I'll enjoy it. Ninjak has to be very specific, I feel. I think if it's more of a spy thing than what this is, because again, I just felt like it was very boring.
So for you, like Ninjak is more like for if he's not like a supporting character in Unity, it's more about like the first volume where it's really this infiltration process.
Yeah, I can't really remember what the first volume was, but I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it's just more spy stuff because I mean, it's just like with Batman, it's just boring if all he does is beat up people. I feel like for me, Batman was always more fun when it was more of an actual mystery and you got to see his actual detective skills and stuff that he was actually doing like that. And so when he's just running around, I mean, I think Batman, it's kind of fun to have him like that in like the video games because you can, and because you're doing it yourself and it's fun to just use all the weapons and all that stuff and just beating people up. But in the movies generally are quite boring if all it's doing is just, Batman fighting things, except for, of course, if you can then delve deep into like the psyche of it, and especially that's why I think the Dark Knight was such a success, because Joker was so good, not because Batman was good, and that's why I feel like the third film of that also suffered. It's just that it's not something that people just don't want to see Batman just fighting things all the time. And I feel like it's the same thing here with Ninjak. It's just this story is just not, I don't know, I just don't feel like it had to be Ninjak. This could have just been a Punk Mambo thing, or it could have been a Shadow Man thing, where we see more of Magpie's side of it, and have him as the, because I mean, honestly, the whole reveal in like the third or fourth part of this, where he pulls off his mask and he's all like, "Oh, it's Shadow," or when Ninjak kind of realizes it's Shadow Man or something like that. Um, it doesn't come as a surprise. So I feel like we could have just made it a Shadow Man comic, and then have Punk Mambo be the person who comes in and saves him or whatever.
No, that's a fair point. So I mean, even if you could even have had like a new character or something that would take Ninjak's place if you needed like to have some more muscle on the team.
Right.
Like again, they don't have to like try to make, oh, this guy's gonna have his own solo series later, but he could be like a supporting character that might like show up in other like comics.
Right. Especially with Punk Mambo having those Loas. I mean, she could have just conjured a second one or something like that,
I'm
and
sure
then
there's some mystical reason. Like no, no,
yeah,
only
yeah,
one
but
per person.
still, I mean, the real reason why they did this in this way is so that they could use the brand of Ninjak to renew some interest in Shadow Man or bring him back to quote unquote life.
Exactly. I believe Ninjak has been doing pretty well, again, relatively based on other Valiant comics. Because when you consider how a lot of these other comics they've have published only last around like 3 volumes.
Yeah.
So I believe this run specifically lasted for 7 volumes. And right after that, they had like a replacement to Ninjak, like Ninjak K, I think, which is still like ongoing. So that didn't quite feel
Mm.
as like that it was canceled, but more that it was rebooted already, so to speak.
Rebranded.
Exactly. Same Ninjak action, different Ninjak name. But I agree with you there, because this adventure, in a sense, it is kind of like whenever Batman has to like fight the dark side or something. It's like sure, there's an inherent interest factor because oh, it's a mortal versus a literal god. Like it's definitely an underdog story. But there's only so much underdog you can do before you get like, oh, come on.
Right.
It's like I always bring up, I love Crisis on Infinite Earths
Mm.
because during like the big final confrontation against the Anti-Monitor, there's that panel of Batman and Robin and some of the other like less powerful heroes like witnessing it and going, Batman, what can we as simple humans do? We can pray, Robin. We can pray. And then on Infinite Crisis and all these other Crisis adventures, he's like center point on all of it.
Well, yeah, because he's the most popular character.
Exactly. And I don't blame that, but it's like, I wish they were a bit more, what would the word be? Not subtle, but more like economic with him, I guess. Like a little Batman goes a long way. And it just kind of feels annoying when you have what I would say more, what's the word? Qualified heroes to
Mm.
do a certain like event, like, oh yeah, maybe Green Lantern would be better for this space, mission.
Yeah, well, if superheroes were real, then yes, that's how it would happen. But they're not real, and they're based around popularity. So yeah, obviously you're gonna have Batman beating Deadside, Deathside,
Dark Side.
Darkseid, whatever. I don't care. That big guy. Yeah, it's funny. Batman vs Superman is on Netflix now here in Germany, and I've been meaning to watch it again, but I just remember how horrible it was just from like I don't know. I think I saw it when I was with my girlfriend, and I was just like, oh god, that was so horrible. And she goes, why? I thought you would like that. And then I was like, oh no. And I explained to her the whole Martha thing, and she was like, oh god, okay, I get it. And it was so promising. The first couple of minutes were so nice. Zach,
Right?
whatever his name is,
The Zack Snyder.
that's the one.
No, but it's amazing. I told you that myself when I went to see it. Like after that.
Well, I saw it before you, so I told you first.
Well, yeah, but you didn't give me that detail. You kind of like, because I didn't want to hear too much.
Yeah.
But I told you as well after I had seen it, like seeing that first opening with Bruce Wayne in Metropolis.
Mm.
I was sitting there like eating my popcorn and going like, "Oh, the haters gonna hate. They don't know what they're talking about." because I thought it was going to continue with this kind of.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, we could go on and on about Batman v Superman.
Yeah, Batman v Superman was the first movie where I continuously checked my watch.
Well, it's the first ever.
Yep, the first ever movie where I was just like constant. I mean, there were movies where I kind of checked it once or twice, like whatever, like just to be like, oh well, what time is it? Are we somewhere soon? I mean, but I mean, Batman v Superman was the one where I kind of looked at it consistently, like just constantly checking the time just to make sure that it's just like, oh, when is this finally going to be over? And then I was like, well, is it a 2-hour movie? It's like, oh no, maybe not. Probably 2.5, and oh god, this is going to go on forever. Horrible, just horrible.
So the sad part of it, I think, is more of the fact that because just like the opening scene, I feel so many separate scenes are really interesting and concepts are interesting. But something, I don't know what went wrong in the editing or so. I mean, again, there's some core things like the Martha thing that, unless that was some really weird editing thing that would have made sense in the. All right, there is an R-rated cut. I'd honestly want to watch that just to see how different it is. Because at least it's a different movie rather than watching the same movie. But either way, let's go from DC Universe to the Valiant Universe. But I gotta say, it's too bad they don't really have like toys and stuff of Valiant, like proper ones. Because this Ninjak, Deadside suit is like so toyetic. Like I don't know, seeing him like when he dresses up is like, buy this in your local Toys R Us. Oh wait,
topical.
Very.
Yeah, I just hate seeing people here in Germany all like, oh, it's closing. Toys R Us is closing. We need to go to Toys R Us real quick. It's not closing in Germany. I hate how people are just like so America centric, even in Europe.
Well, even Germans are on Reddit and Tumblr.
Yeah. I feel like there should be no toys of Valiant. Because I mean, okay, well, I mean, are we talking toys, or are we talking figurines? Because if you're talking like Saturday morning cartoon toys, then no, because Valiant is not for kids. I mean, even though they still bleep out the swears, which again, why? This is not a series that I would be giving to my children.
Oh no, absolutely.
I mean, no.
But I just mean like pure design wise, like it's just
it seems like something out of like Batman Brave and the Bold or something like that, where for whatever reason suddenly Batman has to go into space and now he has a new suit than from the last time he had to go into space.
Exactly. So
just
you have
so
to
they
buy
can sell the extra toys. Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. So again, I would love to see a sort of sanitized the animated series version of the Valiant universe. Like the Bruce Timm version of it. Like Armstrong doesn't drink. He's just a glutton. So instead,
or he drinks a lot of soda pop.
Yeah, but that with the immortality, I feel is kind of. I think if it's more like he has a sweet tooth, because that's has always sort of existed in some form or other.
No, it would be like he'd be drinking soda pop the entire time and then getting like sleepy from drinking too much soda.
Oh, I get the reference.
Yeah. It was Digimon for those who don't. Yeah.
So, but anyways, but I gotta say too, I mean, again, we'll probably have like a summary of this all, but
who's Black Mamba?
Punk Mambo?
No, who's Black Mamba?
I don't know. Where did they mention that?
Oh wait, no, that's that basketball player. Because every single time I see, like when I was writing out the summaries, I kept on writing Black Mamba. I was like, why am I writing Black Mamba all the time? But I guess that was just the name that's been in my head longer than Punk Mambo. I guess it just sounds so weird. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a basketball player that has the nickname Black Mamba.
So
there's a short film if you are interested in it. Check it on YouTube. It's actually pretty fun. It's from the guy Rodriguez, the guy who is a big buddy with Tarantino. I think he filmed a couple of. I think Rodriguez did the
Spy Kids.
I think he did Spy Kids, but he also did
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Well, no. I think but I mean I'm talking about Sin City.
Damn, he went. He changed his styles.
Yeah, I think it was Sin City. Yeah. I have his book. It's called what was the book called? Somewhere I have it here. Oh yeah, there it is. Rebel Without a Crew. Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, is that the guy for that? I've heard that title many times.
Yeah, it's a good book, but yeah, read it back in the day. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Something about him.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, Black Mamba. Right. Yeah. So he directed this short film with Kobe Bryant. That's the guy. So Kobe Bryant's kind of nickname is Black Mamba, and there's like this really cool, really fun um, short. So if you're like a fan of Tarantino-esque movies, like with all these kind of things and the music, it's actually really fun to watch. So it's basically this basketball player, Kobe Bryant, I think his name is, and then they make this kind of like Kill Bill style, Sin City style short film about the Black Mamba having to play basketball against like all these characters. It's actually pretty fun. I'll show it to you after we record, and if you're listening, go check it on YouTube. It's fun.
All right, and to our listeners, I know we usually mention that if we talk about other things, it means that we both really like the comic. But Chris himself did say he wasn't too fond of it, so
No, I'm just trying to talk about something else that's actually interesting. Because I don't have anything to say about this comic. I mean, I just read it, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's boring.
I just feel it's one of those world building things. Because in the Shadow Man comics, the Deadside was always so barren, which I guess makes
Yeah,
sense.
but honestly, they should have. I mean, I guess we have to talk about this in the next comic, right? No, we can talk about this one. Why is there suddenly a metropolis
Well, I
in
got
the Deadside?
well, I got the impression that the Deadside is sort of like a parallel universe. Like it is like the land of the dead, but basically, as you die or like travel to the dead side, the location is then the relevant location of where you died, so to speak, in relation to the dead side.
But you can still travel in the Deadside.
Yeah.
But see, this is what I'm feeling is that if this is supposed to be world building, they did a really shitty job with it because all we got to do was see like glimpses of the Deadside with like way more interesting stuff, and then they just like fight it out somewhere. It's like no, wait. We cannot. You cannot show us a Deadside that's full of demons and monsters and all these weird
A dead
things
side
all the
full of life.
time. No, but that's what I mean. It's like it's full of like all this like creatures and demons and walls that can be kind of penetrated but not really, and just dark, desolate wasteland of shit. And then suddenly there's a city there with like normal looking human people. Like that's not no. You can't just be like I don't know. You can't just suddenly plop one of those things in without giving some exposition. I mean, they didn't did enough of the exposition here. They should have said something about like, I mean, how do they keep the demons from the city, or do they interact with each other? Like, are there demons that are not war hungry or something like that live next to like that old couple that's in the bar of that church that they've crashed into later? I mean, there's so many questions here. Like, wait, so is it like a normal occurrence that you're living in the city and then suddenly this dragon bird just comes around because someone summoned it? Like, there's so many questions. Like, just by adding this metropolis in there, it's like, no. Do people have jobs? How do they keep up a city like this? Or is it like a public transport system thing in hell?
Yeah, no,
You know what I
I
mean?
no, I
I mean,
agree in that sense, but to me, it was more of the sense of that, like how you describe when it's done well in other examples. I just got the impression of, ooh, this is a peek at a bigger world. I mean, I am as like having read the other Shadow Man, or like the earlier Shadow Man volumes. It does kind of feel a bit weird that actually, what does it say when the parallel like world to New Orleans is all barren and desolate?
did they actually mention it directly that it has to do with a portal like that?
I don't know. It just
because I never got the idea that it had to do with where you died, you then also appear in the dead side. Because it feels like when she creates the portal, she creates it specifically to go to that main city.
Maybe. It's hard to keep track. I
But
mean,
because I mean, again, I just feel like when we see that there are all these monsters and creatures, that is what is like the norm, right?
mm,
Like, okay, this is what we assume under a place called Deadside, not streetlights, brick walls, and architecture.
well, it's more of like it kind of feels like Diagon Alley, very
Yeah, but
Hogwartsy, except for like
yeah,
more
but Diagon.
monsters.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like Diagon Alley is, you know, a place within a city that's just hidden behind a brick wall. That's not. I mean, we didn't get um, the precursor of just like constant just witches and wizards living in little huts underground and all that kind of stuff. We didn't see at first that all these witches and wizards are some sort of, you know, land folk or something like that, and then suddenly we're transported into the cityscape where everyone's wearing suits and ties. I mean, it's kind of like you say you meet an indigenous group of people, and on the outskirts, everyone's just living in teepees and huts and can barely put like a stone on a stick and make any kind of weapons, right? But then you go a little bit further inland, and then you see everyone on iPads and living in high houses. I mean, wouldn't you just kind of at least a little bit be like, oh, this is weird?
This place needs some class warfare.
So that's why I feel like this. I mean, they left me with so many questions. I mean, I don't feel like you can just pop in the information that there's a metropolis in the middle of what is pretty much hell.
Yeah. Ah.
They should do like what was this place called? A place called Shanharara or something like that.
Yeah, Shambhala, I think.
Shambhala.
Yeah.
There should be some sort of like Shambhala stories. Like that should have been like a comic that came out with this issue, where it's just like, all right, so here's a story of like a detective in Shambhala, and then you can kind of like see how this world works,
Dude,
because this is just weird. Yeah, totally.
New character. What's called? No, but how cool would that be? Like detective in hell or equivalent of hell.
Shambhala, you mean? Yeah.
Oh no, but Shambhala was just a city.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. The environment, it would just be kind of cool.
And then Ninjak could be the quite literal Batman to that Gotham.
No, he doesn't want to go back. You heard him. He hates the Deadside. Though that
yeah, and
too,
Batman hates his job.
Though that too is something I'm curious about because I don't think we saw that when he mentions he's been there before.
Yep.
Or is that something?
I mean, I assume that I did see it because my memory's so bad with this stuff.
Or maybe during his like training, like with the what's called the Shadow 7. Could that have been something of that? Like he sort of did it there?
Maybe.
Oh well.
All right, so we've been spending half an hour on the first issue.
Yeah, but that's because we kind of got out like a lot of the general stuff too, along with you know unimportant things.
Issue 11. I'm just going to scroll through here and talk about what's happening. So Punk Mambo and Ninjak are sitting in the island, spending some time together, some quality time. Ninjak creates some sort of weird satellite thing that's just also completely unnecessary. And they get attacked by some forest creature, which then shows them flashbacks of their past. Punk Mambo sees her first mission to the Deadside, where she was attacked by Magpie and Ember. And then her people were captured, and she was sent back, I guess it seems. But before we find anything out, Ninjak destroys the plant creature who's doing this memory thing for her. And yeah. So then they keep going up to the top of the mountain and then find this giant hilt of a sword, which then her Loa pulls out. And it's revealed that the island that they're on is actually an elder dragon, elder fighter, whatever thing. who has this sword stuck in his head, and they decide to help it out by pulling the sword out and hoping that then the giant will bring them back to Shambhala, which he does. And I guess that's how it pretty much ends. And then we have another one of those lost files where we kind of see Magpie retrieving the hammer that Ember uses, and this is also where he gets to meet Ember and pulls him onto his side. So yeah, that's issue 11.
Well, not bad, Chris. We're winging it.
Well, I just kind of flipped through the pages and just like describing what I saw.
Yeah, that's all we really do with these, don't we?
So yeah, another continuation felt very I don't know, giant thing. Feels very, I don't know, it reminds me of Aladdin. And
I was gonna say the third one.
Yeah, my favorite one. Oh my god, the Hand of Midas.
No, but I feel it fits this kind of like, I'm not gonna say whimsical, because I feel whimsical suggests it's a little bit more innocent.
Also reminds me of Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Oh,
with a little island creature that gives Aang the power.
right, the lion turtle.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but just something kind of cool, like this kind of, as they call, like sort of an elder god, like these sort of
that was an elder god.
Yeah, this kind of like H.P. Lovecraft kind of creature. Though without going for the usual, mollusk inspiration. So, but it's, I don't know, it's a neat idea. I mean, in the end, if we look at the story as a whole, the setback was, I guess, he has to both kill some time, as well as give some character development for Punk Mambo, I guess. Because
she's hurting.
Yeah, that's the thing. Most of what we've seen her before, isn't so much. She's always kind of like in charge.
Yeah, but that's just typical, isn't it? I mean, there was no part of me that was like surprised that she had some sort of tragic backstory. I mean, it's so typical of the character who's always the cool one, the one that's like always, like totally chilled and everything, has like the worst backstory or some shit.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's original. It's
just typical.
But it's just kind of nice, and it kind of like justifies having the fourth issue, I guess. Or like the second issue. It justifies having 4 issues. Because I feel we've had a lot of volumes like that, where it really feels like it could have been 3 issues. But then this...
I wonder if that's how they do it. I mean, because when I was writing a couple of comics, what I would do is I would plot out every page. So basically, before I even started writing any dialogue or anything like that, I would create an Excel sheet with like 22 pages or something like that, and then I would just write next to it pretty much like what happens on each page, just like a really quick summary, and then I could just write it out then later. I did that for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comic that I wrote, and then I also did it for the Kalevala thing that I started but never finished. And I feel like they would do the same thing for like a volume like this, and then they realize, oh, we have 140 pages that we need to fill, and or what would it be? 22 times 4, so what's that? Oh god, 88. Yeah. So we got 88 pages to fill, and then they just like write out what they want and then just start filling in the gaps. Like, oh well, I just wrote out the entire story and I'm only at 60 pages. Well, let's start filling in make everything a little bit longer.
Let's put in some splash pages.
And then they just have loads of lines where it just says, Punk, Mambo, and Ninjak share their feelings.
It wouldn't surprise me if it is done like that in some form. Again, and not bad in of itself, but it's one of those things which is also one of the things I like about streaming these days. You don't really have, like on Netflix, you don't have a format, or you don't have to abide by it strictly, like you have to do with linear TV or a comic. I mean, of course, I'm sure they don't sit there and feel like, oh man, this BoJack Horseman episode is gonna last an hour. Like, oh well, that's just how long it lasts.
Oh, I think, yeah, didn't they do that?
No, I mean they have done that are longer than 22 minutes. Like the one that I was surprised about that was half an hour exactly, because they had like 3 stories that were 10 minutes each.
Right, yeah.
But that's what I mean. They did that there because it worked better. But you couldn't have done that on TV. It's like, well, sorry, you're just gonna have it be 7 minutes each for each character, or divide it up
Well,
some other
yeah,
way.
that's what. Yeah, which is also. I also have you noticed that when you're watching like a show that is Netflix specific, there are no act breaks.
Yeah, exactly,
Like there's no fade to black after Act One, Act Two. So for the commercial breaks.
exactly. Well, they're always much more cinematic. I feel even these shows.
Yeah.
Like the only ones that are kind of a bit less like that are like the cartoons. I feel because I guess they just like to
Mm.
follow that setup a little better. But the same thing here with the
I do.
comics.
I do like that idea. I feel like it might be interesting. I mean, obviously this wouldn't fly, and no one's going to test it out. But it would be interesting if you could pay per page. And I'm not talking about advertising pages and stuff like that. I mean, like actual pages of comic. So then they think to themselves, like, okay, well, how many pages do we need to create for this story? And then the price reflects how many pages it is. So say like whatever what's the current going rate for a 22-page comic?
Usually $3.99. So
Right. I mean,
$4.99
obviously
at
this is
Marvel.
right. So I'm thinking like $3.99 for 22 pages. So then if it's like 20 pages instead, because that's just how long it needed, then it goes down to $3.50 or something like that. And maybe if it has to be 25 pages, then it goes up to $4.25 or something like that. I mean, obviously, no one would do it, and it's a stupid method. And maybe you would do this kind of stuff online, where I guess that doesn't make a difference because you're just clicking on something. I don't know. It would be interesting to see like a report or something like that if that actually
Well,
works.
it is a discussion that's been had anytime they like raise the price of these like issue comics.
Hmm.
So because everyone's always kind of on about like, I mean, again, there's like the material costs, of course, and how much does it cost
Yeah.
to print? With this
Yeah.
paper quality, with these colors and ink. So there's material costs. But then it's also certain weird things like anytime in a bookstore, I'm always curious about the price discrepancies because you can have like like a pocketbook that seems to have quite like 200 pages maybe selling for like a pretty like small price. But then when you would have like a larger book that's a lot thinner, but hard, like there's all these little details about like, wait, how do they decide these prices?
Well, it has to do with like what the information is inside it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But it's I don't know. It's an odd thing for me, especially because I listen to Audible, and it
Yeah.
just surprises me how expensive those are.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I know a poor person has to sit there and read out the whole book.
Yeah, not only that, but you also are also paying the writer who wrote the book, all the engineers who create or who record and all that kind of stuff of the thing, and then of course you're paying the actor to read it to you.
True, but still, I just get kind of like, really, like $27 for an audiobook?
Do you not have the audible.com free month, and every month you get one extra token to buy a new audiobook?
Yeah, but I turned it off after the first month.
Wait, so you pay for audiobooks?
No, it was a weird thing. I did it for a while, so I have like what do I have like 7 of them. But then I felt it got a little expensive, and I hadn't listened through them all yet, so I turned it off for now.
Wait, so you do have the monthly subscription?
Yeah, but I've turned it off at the moment.
Wait, how much is the monthly subscription?
I can't remember, but still, I wasn't going through them quickly enough, so I didn't feel like.
Yeah, but you were not so you aren't buying audiobooks at $27.
No, but I see the prices though because
Okay.
I look around sometimes.
Well, if you go to audible.com/hardcast, you can get your first month free. No, don't. This is bullshit. Why would anyone sponsor this episode?
I don't know. I'm surprised how small YouTubers they manage to get a hold of sometimes.
If you want to create your idea, go to squarespace.com/hardcast. And what's the other one? Oh, yeah. I love my Casper mattress.
Wow, I never heard that one.
You haven't heard that one? Yeah, that's a
I thought
big
we were
one.
gonna go
That's one that
Crunchyroll, because good lord.
Yes, Crunchyroll.
Because even that guy binging with Babish, a cooking channel, has one of those. Yes,
Yeah.
and he just manages to kind of include it by having food wars.
You can have a 100-day free trial of lying on your Casper mattress, and if you don't like it, they'll come pick it up for free.
Oh, Dollar Shave Club too.
Yes, Dollar Shave Club. I love my new shaving handle from Dollar Shave Club. It doesn't actually exist in Germany because I tried to order it and they wouldn't send me one. But I listen to exclusively English podcasts in America and based in England. So imagine my surprise when I went onto dollarshaveclub.com/whatever what I was listening to. And even though they are created and made in Germany and shipped all the way to England, they could not send me a Dollar Shave Club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really annoying because I was actually really looking forward to it. And then they were like, nope, sorry, we don't ship to Germany.
Oh, just ambush them from the factory.
Also, Squarespace sucks. So if you do want to start Squarespace, call me up because my girlfriend will make you a website.
All right, we
How
just
to
gave
never
free...
get advertisers on Hardcast.
I don't know. I mean, we just gave free advertising to several different brands.
Well, let me talk about this then. Casper sucks because the people who come to pick it up are totally pissy and totally annoying. They say that they're totally nice and it's all hassle-free, but then they're gonna complain about it the entire time. Literally, we actually here. Let's do another one. IKEA. If you're delivering stuff to us and you have your delivery guys complain the entire time that they have to deliver a closet into my apartment, that's not cool. That's not cool. What else were we talking about? Crunchyroll, you suck in Germany.
Yeah, let it all out, Chris. Let it all out. Put out all your grievances.
What are all the other ads? I don't know what the other ads are.
I can't think of one right now.
Oh wait, what was the other one? Lifelong learning.
A Tableau's a new one that I've been seeing a lot.
I haven't seen that one. All right, well, Humphrey, edit as much out of this as you want. Maybe keep it all. Who knows? Let's continue with Ninjak and Black Mamba. I mean, Punk Mambo.
Was that on purpose?
Mamba? No.
So, but I guess just to mention something, I love Magpie's design.
Do you want a close shave like Ninjak? Go to dollarshaveclub.com/hardcast. Anyway, okay, yes, you love
Magpie's design.
Yeah, it is interesting. I like the ropes.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a pity they have to disappear in the sense of what they represent. But I don't know, it just looks really cool. Like just the whole. I mean, I like the Shadow Man costume from before, but it felt a little bit too. It sounds funny coming from me, but it felt a little too superhero-y. And my only issue with that is the fact that this is supposed to be like a really ancient kind of ritual costume thing.
Yeah.
And then it still looks like a spandex suit.
Yeah, this definitely looks more like a ritualistic costume.
Exactly. And like it feels, it's one of those costumes that doesn't feel like it's a costume. As in, like, it feels like there's a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the thing we always discuss, like with Iron Man. Like, it's a costume, but everything about it is functional.
Right.
And even something like, if you take like Thor or something, I mean, it depends on the design they go with, but for the most part, it sort of looks like a warrior's outfit.
Yeah, even though it's not accurate, it is,
it gives the feeling.
Believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we believe that it is, at least when he claims so. But then something like Captain America, where, sure, we know why he's dressed in the American colors, but that alone is purely cosmetic, so to speak.
Well, that's the whole idea behind him.
Yeah, I know.
He was supposed to be a propaganda piece, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying
it doesn't make sense. It all makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but even then, that is like, that's purely a cosmetic choice, that it means something, but it doesn't purposefully serve something.
When you're going to fight a war, you have to wear a uniform.
So, yeah, oh god, sorry, it just reminds me of the first Avenger. Again, I love that movie to death. I think it's still my favorite of the Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
But when he sneaks in the first time at the POW camp, and he's like so
Yes, with the
sneaky.
big sign on the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, because there's some shot where you see him from the front, and he's okay. He's kind of blending in there. You know, if you're not paying attention as a Hydra soldier, fine. And then he turns around and is like, "Bing! Like, shoot me! Shoot me! Shoot me!"
It's like Sneak 100.
Yes. But also, this is another thing here. This felt very anime for me. Magpie killing all of those other guys and then letting Ember live.
Mm.
Because I don't know, I feel I've seen that a lot in anime where you can have characters who like kill all of your friends and then you still kind of join up with them. Again, maybe not as common as I think, but I feel Hunter x Hunter has had that a lot.
Yeah.
We have characters who are like, dude, you like killed all these guys.
By the way, Crunchyroll, if you're listening, I do like you. You just suck in Germany. I know it's not your fault. It's it's Germany's fault. So you're all good.
Were you sitting there feeling guilty?
I was feeling a little bit guilty because I do like Crunchyroll, but you know,
I was seeing you there and I kind of like, biting your finger, like looking left to right. I know, no, I gotta let this out. I can't keep this.
I'd love to have Crunchyroll as a sponsor.
So maybe we can steal Wendy away from Game Grumps.
But honestly, Dollar Shave Club would not work for us because we both have beards. I mean, I don't know the last time you've seen a razor.
So what's a racer?
It's a band from the 80s.
I do have an electric one that I bought cheap, and I still haven't used it.
Nice.
It's open and everything, and like ready to use. It's just kind of sitting there, like one day.
All right, so I mean, the anime that I've been watching, you know, the gay swimming anime and stuff like that, they don't usually have these kind of things. So I don't exactly know what you mean, and although I've read like the first couple of chapters of Hunter x Hunter, I haven't seen that either. So I'm just going to take your word for it. But it does seem like a very anime-esque thing to do.
Well, if nothing else, you have like Vegeta in that sense.
Really?
Well, think about it. Like, even ignoring like the few people they killed, like on Earth that weren't revived. Like the whole thing on Namek, when they revive everyone killed by Frieza, and then the Namekians point out, "Hey, but where's Bob?" Or the other village over there. Oh, that must have been the one I killed. Sorry, that didn't count in the part of the resurrection. It's like, and then he just hangs out after that. It's the weirdest thing.
Wait, but what does that have to do with someone being left alive?
Well, more that he didn't kill all these other people, and then he's still kind of present, and they kind of accept him even though he has this kill count. I don't know, sorry, it's just very general last time was.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, well, what are you talking about Vegeta? He didn't like, because I'm assuming that he, Vegeta would be Magpie, killing people and then leaving one alone, and then him becoming
no, it wasn't
like
a
friends.
perfect thing. I was kind of generalizing the whole killing a bunch of people and then not really having any repercussions.
Well, I mean, that's just life, Humphrey.
Whoa.
The fuck was that?
Some guy with their Harley outside, I guess.
Okay.
Notice me!
Summertime in Denmark.
It actually is really hot right now. Blue skies,
really?
Sun, really nice. And it's snowing at my parents' place in Sweden.
It's actually pretty warm out here too.
I hope.
All the way down here in Munich, Germany.
I hope so. You're much further south.
Yeah, but it's not warm. Wow, we are completely off topic on this episode.
I blame you, though, because I wanted to discuss the comic, but you...
Yeah, well, I mean, the comic sucks, so there are good elements. Let's go on to issue 12.
Ninjak and company crash into the capital Shambhala, with that living island to get at Magpie and retrieve Fakir and maybe the 20 MI6 agents from before. Ember emerges to confront them, but Punk Mambo takes him on with her Loa, leaving Ninjak to do the main mission. Punk Mambo and Ember fly through Shambhala and destroy everything in their wake, only to have Mambo's Loa swallow Ember's hammer, making it a bargaining chip to make him do what she wants. Ninjak and Magpie have a heart-to-heart regarding Shadow Man's feelings, and just as they're about to agree to make it all well, Punk Mambo crashes the party, which makes Magpie distrust them again, leading to the final battle. In the Lost Files, Magpie and Ember go meet a shaman who gives semi-clear instructions to Magpie on how to escape the Deadside. we then see him follow said instructions, capturing 2 new characters we've never seen before, along with Sanguine, the crazy lady from Volume 2, who gives Magpie the information he needs to go after Fakir, which started this whole volume. I had an audible. I mean, I had read it before, but I forgot this part. And I guess that I audible, like, God damn it, Punk Mambo.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't blame her, she didn't know.
No, blame her.
But still, it's just like, God damn it. It's like so.
Yes, that's the problem with always wanting to have an amazing entrance. Sometimes you just need to walk in the back door and just assess the situation before you do something. I would like to talk about the thespians.
All right, let's talk about the thespians.
Why are there thespians? This is stuff that I want to know more about. I do not care about their battle between Shadow Man and the 2 Valiant characters, other things. I want to know why there are 3 ghosts, or 4 ghosts it seems, and then 2 non-ghosts, and another guy in the back who's probably the director, or not really the director, because it's probably the guy in the front, the director. They're practicing a play in hell.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then, like, right after that, too, we have, what's it called? Some kind of weird store or something.
Yes, I mean...
And heads in jars, like a la Futurama.
Right. Humphrey, I mean, take my idea and create a comic about a detective in Shambhala.
All right. I'll be right on that.
All right.
It's cool. On the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. You mean scroll. Does that make sense to the track? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I see it. You mean like because it rolls out like that?
Because it's a long thing.
I mean, it's a list either way. List doesn't mean the medium. Could be a Google document.
Yeah, so they fight. I mean, that's what this issue is,
So, but I feel it's pretty satisfying. I mean, this whole like what's the word, like the castle siege or whatever. It's always kind of cool, especially when you come with like this big monster.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like in Shrek 2 when they attack the castle with the giant gingerbread man.
I can't remember.
Okay, well, yeah. For those listening, I'm sure they remember. Who doesn't remember Shrek 2? Except you.
Right.
No, but it's just kind of cool. And
wait, was Shrek 2 the one where he turns into a human?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, like they have to charge it at the castle to stop Prince Charming from kissing Fiona because she drank a potion that would make her fall in love with him, or so they think. Spoilers for let's see, oh holy shit, 14-year-old movie.
Damn.
2004. I remember because I saw it when I came to the States. Ooh.
Nice.
But I feel the fight is pretty nice. Like there's an actual like sort of progression. So, and then also like the solution, at least even if it doesn't last, based on the last issue. But it's just kind of cool, just swallowing up the hammer and then, and that kind of seems to be like Punk Mambo's shtick here. Get other people to do her dirty work. So she's like, oh, we should do that too. Like, what would a Valiant character's Pokemon team be?
Seriously.
No, I always love that because it kind of illustrates. There's so many now that you can perfectly.
Yeah, but they use it with popular characters.
Well, maybe this will help because we'll have a reason to post it in the Pokemon subreddit.
Right, and then people are just like, "Who is this?" And then they don't know who it is, and they don't go through the trouble of like. I mean, they could go to a Wikipedia, but they wouldn't find anything.
That's true.
Yeah, right.
But they'll find that animated pigeon movie when they search Valiant.
What?
There's an old CG film from like 2005. So about like World War II pigeons.
Called the Valiant?
No, just called Valiant. Because the main character's name is Valiant.
Wow.
So, starring John Cleese and some other British actors.
Huh.
It was fine. But it was kind of like the start of all of these like copycat. Oh, not copycat, but it was just at the start of everyone doing CG films. Like, yeah, there was a time where there was only like Pixar and DreamWorks. And then suddenly now, you guys, these may make a lot of money.
It's not because they're good or anything. It's because they're CG.
Exactly. That's the reason why live action movies do so well, because they're live action.
And they don't have women in it.
Ah, man, what was that? What movie was that made that guy say that? Because it was like a Warner Brothers guy, I think, or something. Ah, well.
I mean, it's just a commonly held belief by a lot of the executives in the branch.
Mm.
And then came Wonder Woman.
Then came Hunger Games. Then came Twilight. Again, not saying anything about like quality, but Twilight was...
No. We're talking about... No. Twilight was marketed towards women. I'm talking about a woman lead. Like Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like where it's just a... Like, yeah.
Yeah, you've had like a 5-picture... You had like a 5-movie series with Resident Evil. It's always been like the same woman in the role.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, not quite.
Why was everyone all like? Why was everyone so up in arms about the fact that Wonder Woman was a female-led movie that did so well?
It's just people like having a success. The thing is, it's
No, I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but they were all like talking about like this is the first time that a woman was the lead of a movie all alone without some sort of male counterpart.
Well, you need that kind of stuff. I mean, it's like with Star Trek Discovery. So like people had to like put all these what's the word, caveats, because people were immediately going, so yes, it's the first black lead in Star Trek. Deep Space Nine, the first woman. Voyager, the first black woman. Okay. But even then I think there was some like book series which I know don't count.
Yeah, but weren't they also saying something like that she's like the first black female captain? And she never was a captain.
Oh, okay. I didn't finish the first season, so I thought maybe that's how it ended.
Finish the first. Dude, seriously?
I am.
No. You have Easter holidays right now. You have no excuse.
All right.
I want you to watch this, or else I'm not going to record the next podcast with you.
Okay. You got to write the stick now.
Yeah, because I mean, you care about this podcast so much that I'm like, I can actually use this to have some leverage.
I don't need you. I'll talk by myself.
I'll do this thing. I won't record the podcast until you publish something online that you've created.
Twitter.
Right. Yeah, just write Twitter like boner, #boner.
If that got me a follower, I'd be so happy. Nah. So, but yeah, that's what I mean with stuff like that, though. It's also like with Black Panther. Like everyone's done this whole meme with Blade.
Yeah.
And like, oh my god, finally a black superhero. Like, Blade would like to have a word with you.
Right.
I think also a big thing is about quality. I think there's always this inherent like caveat to it, because people will bring up Steel. With Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
I haven't even seen it. I saw the Nostalgia Critic episode of it years ago.
Hey, we're not allowed to talk about the Nostalgia Critic anymore.
All right, then. That guy with the glasses. Oh wait, crap.
Oh my god, that's so good. Oh, dude, that was like your best joke ever.
Thank you. No, but so all I have is that impression of it. But it doesn't look like all that great of a film.
No.
But that's the whole thing. There's all this thing about like, it's not just that it has to exist. It has to be good. And that makes sense, of course, Like if I want to have like a film about like Swedish history or, Nordic mythology or whatever, I'm not going to be satisfied just because it exists. It has to be good too.
Right. Of course.
So, but who knows? I mean, with this success, we might get a Static Shock movie from DC, hopefully.
Black Lightning?
So, oh yeah, true. But yeah, I don't know. I watched the cartoon of Static Shock, so that's like what I want.
Yeah, but Black Lightning's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, I've seen it a lot on Tumblr. It's their latest fave. So, but yeah, I'll have to catch up on that too. Just seen the first episode.
I love how I think this is a record for the least amount we talk about a comic.
I think so too.
Yeah, we are so sorry, listeners.
But it's been a while since we talked too, I think. So I think we just have a lot of...
So back to the comic. There's not really much to say here except what Humphrey already described. there's a lot of back and forth about the hammer being, with Punk Mamba and the Loa, and then all this whole thing about almost everything being okay and then her ruining it. It is interesting. I feel like we haven't really. I think part of it is also interesting that this whole thing is that Dark is dead, or quote unquote dead, and that's also why Shadow Man feels kind of trapped now more than ever, because he felt like, if he would obey Dark long enough and get what he needs, that he would then at some point release him from his bonds. But now that Dark has disappeared, which he says, he feels like he needs to now find a way out himself, which I think is a very interesting way of looking at it. But otherwise, I think, not much else is here. So in a total spoiler alert, Ninjak is fine and back at MI6, taking off his armor. Then we go back and see what happened. They fight some more, and during the distraction that Punk Mamba caused, Ninjak goes and frees all of the men that were there from the first time Punk Mamba came in. Is it Mambo?
Mambo.
Mambo. Okay, Punk Mambo. He then rejoins the fight. Ember gets back his hammer by pulling it out of the Loa's mouth. And then there's some more fighting. Ninjak just completely destroys Ember, I'm pretty sure decapitates him, but not really. Then he stabs Shadow Man through the back. Dick move. Saves Black Punk Mambo. And everything's fine. Yeah. So she opens up another portal. Everyone goes out. But then suddenly Shadow Man gets up again, rips out the blade by the front of the blade. So totally badass. And they start fighting again. Ninjak is way too OP. If there ever is a fighting game, Humphrey, you are not allowed to play Ninjak. And he tosses Shadow Man out of the portal, even though I guess he's not allowed to go to the real world or else he'll die. He falls out. Everything is fine. Shadow Man is back to his former self. The bonds have fallen. And then they do the whole thing with, how did you know the portal wouldn't kill me? And Ninjak replies, I didn't. But the face he makes there seems really weird. We'll discuss that. Yep. So Ninjak gets paid $2 million for that job.
Extra.
Which is awesome. Extra, yeah. Up on top of the $8 million that he got in front, something like that. Then he and Punk Mamba chat a little bit. And then we see this red-headed woman who's watching them. I think that's one of the those guys from the previous volume. And then we see that Jack Boniface is now in prison with the Loa looming around him, and it cuts to black, I assume. But then we see a little bit of the hidden stories, or the forgotten stories, what do they call it? Lost stories, where he has everyone tied up. I don't know what he's doing next. He just walks around and there's weird creatures that he is fighting against and stuff. I don't know. It was weird. Can you explain the thing that happened at the end of the Lost Tales of Lost Stories? Because it just feels like he's just walking around talking about stuff.
Well, his mission is to find these magical objects that can be used against Master Dark, and that book is one of them.
Yeah, but still,
he destroys it.
He destroys it quickly, and then he just walks around.
Well, yeah, then what appears to happen is it's a living person, because he mentions tourist. The Deadside doesn't like tourists.
Mm.
And the tourist gets eaten up by a tentacle monster. And I think the point of it...
He could have had a much worse fate. He could have had a much worse fate with a tentacle monster.
But I think the whole idea there is, he literally sort of has his devil shoulder, or shoulder devil. And I think to kind of contrast with the first issue with when he spared that family.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is supposed to be his point of no return. Which kind of feels kind of silly having read this right after him returning.
Right.
Oh no, I can finally be good again. And then we see an adventure about, no, I can never be good again. But again, it's that great artist that we've had a few times. What's it say? Juan Jose Ripe, I just love his art style.
Yeah, it's a pretty art style.
Oh, like the opposite. Everything looks so hideous in a good way, I feel. Like it's just so rendered, like all these crisscross and
Chris Crass,
no, but like on the
crisscross.
on the first page or the second page of that dragon thing, just all of those bumps he's drawn, all of these
Mm.
wrinkles. It's like not that it feels like real, like like it's realistic, but the texture, you just feel it. It's like, oh yeah, this is such a wrinkly, scaly, disgusting looking animal. And I just love the way he does it because he does it with such skill. I gotta check out some of these artists. I kind of actually want to look up on Comixology and see some of their other art, especially if it's for
Yeah,
some like Marvel DC stuff, just to see
yeah,
like how they draw. Like how would this guy draw Spider-Man, for example? So like he would probably draw a really cool lizard, like with the way he draws, so he could look like
yeah.
really cool when he's fighting. But yeah, that's the last issue. All's well that ends well. So, but I'm not sure how long it takes before Shadow Man gets his next appearance, because that new series only came out like a few months ago.
Well, I mean, they just tuck him away and wait for basically, they're probably just like, all right, we have him now. What we have is good. Let's just keep him there until we need him.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, like everyone, I seriously doubt many. I mean, I know there are some people, but I doubt that many people know the intricacies of every single story that's happening. So that I feel like somewhere in the back of your mind, you're like, oh yeah, Shadow Man's kind of back, but then they're going to make a huge thing when they actually bring out the next appearance of him, and then everyone has to be like, oh yeah, there was that thing back then. Oh yeah, they established it like 2 years ago. Yeah, okay, I guess it's fine. That kind of thing.
That could definitely work. But it could also be kind of like how they do sometimes with like certain mangas and anime when they have like a time skip.
Mm, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who like only watch One Piece like post time skip.
Okay.
And honestly, for something like that, I don't blame them, considering it's the longest running comic.
Can I mention something again off
Yes,
topic? Apparently, Dragon Ball is going to be doing the kind of like a One Piece thing.
what was a One Piece thing?
They are going to just constantly bring out more.
Well, yeah, but that's not really a One Piece thing. I mean, he's just continuing.
Well, well, um, Dragon Ball Super ended last week.
Oh, so that was that was the big deal. Okay.
Yeah, the finale was 100, the episode 131.
Which was aired in a lot of Latin American countries on huge
Yes.
TVs, which I think like
Did
yes,
you did you see the billboards
yep,
advertising it?
yep.
Like Goku versus Jiren, like if it was an actual MMA fight or something like that, it was
Again,
advertised.
it's super popular in Latin America.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
I
you can trust
understand.
me. I live
I
there.
mean, do you know what happens in the last
Nope.
episode?
I'm assuming they fight.
Do you want to know the big thing that's
Sure,
crazy?
sure. I'm not.
Goku fights together with Frieza
Ooh, so he's back.
on one team, like together to defeat the main enemy thing. And there's like videos of people reacting to it in like huge crowds, like if it was a soccer game, like people standing in front of this projector, like outside in Latin America watching Dragon Ball on a project is crazy. Anyway, but yeah, so now they're thinking about doing the same thing with Dragon Ball because there's a movie that's coming out now after Dragon Ball Super. It's going to build upon it, and then apparently there's going to be another series after that, like another like Dragon Ball something.
Well, I mean, again, I'm surprised they didn't. Like, I was actually kind of like happy or like proud of Toriyama to kind of end it after the Boo saga, because as I've been saying before, which is kind of like negligible now, but Dragon Ball is something that can last forever if you want it to. You just
Yeah,
come up
of
with
course.
another new villain. Just come up with some reason why this one's more powerful.
But honestly, I kind of like the way that it's gotten now. I mean, they've now kind of talked a little bit more about that there are 12 universes.
Oh wow!
And now there's the Super Dragon Balls, which are the size of planets.
Holy shit! But that's what I mean. It's
Dude,
the
don't laugh if you don't watch it,
I
okay?
know, sorry, but
Because it's
it's the
awesome.
exact escalation problem I mentioned.
Yes, I know, and we all know about the escalation problem. I mean, Buffy did it so well, and even that got ridiculous at some point because it starts off with just like this one old vampire in a cave, and it ends with like just earth shattering. Like she saves the world like 3 times, and it's just weird. But yeah, back to
Actually, it's on the subject of Dragon Ball Super.
okay.
Because I've seen this memeing around right now. Have you seen that clip from the American dub?
Yes. Don't shoot. He's black.
No, he's not black.
Oh, he's not black, right? Yeah.
So apparently that one shot of that like a black guy watching it, apparently that's fake.
Yeah, that's from Super Smash Bros.
Yeah. And again, it works in either way, but it's always kind of that always bugs me. That like, oh, I thought it was a real reaction.
No.
But still, it is hilarious hearing it. I wonder like how the recording session went. Like how many times did they have to do?
Well, I mean, again, I doubt that they thought about it.
Oh, really?
Because his name is Black. His name is Goku Black.
Yeah, I know, but still. I mean,
and so they were probably just calling him Black because he has no other name, and there's no point in saying his name constantly Goku Black because they wouldn't work with the lip sync. So they just shortened it to Black, and they obviously weren't thinking about it. I mean, this kind of stuff happens so often where people put stuff together and they don't think about it a second time because they're so into it, and they're just like, well, no, Black means this. But then you have some random person hearing it on the side going like, wait, what did he just say?
So, all right. So, but either way, it was funny though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this comic,
I liked it.
2 out of 5.
I don't know. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. If we're gonna.
Are we doing a 5 out of 5 now? Do you want to do that?
I don't know. It always feels weird for me. Like I
Why
personally prefer
listeners, why don't you
3.
comment? Do you want a rating? Do you want a rating at the end of the volume?
Well, it's kind of late starting it now, but sure.
Yeah, why not? I mean, we can always change stuff.
We can go back to all our old episodes and put them on the show notes. But
yeah, have like or add like an added recording that's in a totally different vocal range and everything like that. Suddenly, like at the end, we're finishing up, and then we're just like 5 out of 5.
We could have what's called we could have like a bonus episode where we go through them just like the quick, like what's the word? Rapid fire reviews.
Rapid fire.
So, Exo Manor Volume 1. So 5 out of 5. So
at the same time, we also review our own episodes.
Yes.
Pretty much all of our first like 20 something episodes would just get a 1 out of 5 from me.
So he did that. He reacted to his early videos.
Oh God. All right. Well, to wrap up this really long episode, do you still want to talk a little bit about Ninjak, or did we say everything?
I think we've kind of, anyone who was curious, I think would have turned off by now.
Yeah.
But again, I feel, like I said earlier, I feel this is a good start for more world building. Because again, that's the trickiness with Valiant. Well, but it's also the pro of it. Because they have control over making sure things make more or less sense and are related.
Yeah.
So you don't have the whole thing where you have, like in Marvel and DC where, all right, well, we have this guy called the Spectre, who's basically, super invincible and powerful. Now, how does he like fit into this?
Right.
Like, how does he fit into the world without breaking it? Which again, in of itself is fun because it's cool to see, how creative the writers can be to make things work. But in Valiant, it's just cool to see things actually being thought about.
Yeah.
And and I'm glad to see what's called Shadow Man back. Because we liked him. It was just like
add a little bit of color to the roster.
Well, we got Livewire and Divinity.
Oh, great, too.
So, which is also the nice thing. They're like totally unrelated to each other. No, I mean, it's not to say that they aren't that in other universes, but I find that pretty common otherwise. It's like,
what was that thing from Kate Monster? Are you related to what's his name?
Oh yeah, the corn monster.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name. But yeah.
Phyllis, how dare you? Just because we're both monsters doesn't mean we're related. I think you're a little bit racist.
Sometime.
Yeah. That was Avenue Q.
Yes.
Check it on Spotify.
It's good times.
By the way, Spotify, you can now listen to podcasts. All you need to do is go to spotify.com/hardcast and you can find, okay. Actually, you can stream podcasts now on Spotify. You can't find us because they haven't sponsored us yet. Definition on the yet. All right, Humphrey, on this very long episode, I would like to add another little segment. I just came up with this while we were recording. Humphrey, what is new in the world of Valiant?
I think we'll have to wait because I'm not up to date.
You're not up to date, Humphrey. How dare you? On this completely unprepared part of the episode.
It's been really busy.
So we have mentioned... No, I know, me too. We're recording this a day late because of me. I would like to add a little segment at the end of our little episodes on a weekly thing. If there's news on Valiant side, what's new? All right, here's one thing. Valiant, on the Valiant fan page on Facebook, the Fan Art Friday is starting again. So show your support if you're not on that Facebook site. We'll put a link into the description, Humphrey. Remember that?
Right.
They are starting a new Fan Art Friday starting tomorrow on Saturday, which is weird. My girlfriend will be posting her stuff there. It's going to be fun. That's some news. Other news, Shadow Man's coming back, I guess.
Oh, well, he's back already.
What?
Well, he's back already. I guess I haven't read
He's
it.
back already. Well, I just feel like this would be nice to kind of give a little bit of an update of what's going on, especially now with the movies and games and stuff like that hopefully are coming out after the whole debacle about Dinesh leaving and there being a whole takeover of the Chinese company. We haven't heard anything anymore. At least I haven't. Have you?
No, not big enough to pop up. Not that it would
Right.
pop up in most places. I mean, I was surprised that mainstream comic book websites that covered the first one.
Right. Well, in the future, I think do you agree? It would be nice to have a little segment at the end where we talk a little bit
Sure.
about
Well,
just mention stuff.
I'll try to catch
it's
up
always
too.
nice to know.
So we can do kind of like Valiant Effort used to do. So they had something called vague news because the one guy was kind of like you who wasn't caught up. So the other guy would then give these vague news about stuff.
Okay.
It was kind of fun. Like at the time they were doing it, I was up to date. So it was kind of fun hearing him like, oh yeah, right, that event just started, and the guy he would do it to kind of entice the other guy.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm subscribed to a lot of the Valiant stuff, so I do notice stuff.
Well, you know at least what's being published. So if a character dies in what we were currently reading, and then they have their own solo series starting, you'll be like, oh.
Yeah, well, I don't mind spoilers. All right, Humphrey, thank you very much for this recording today.
Thank you.
You can discuss this episode on Reddit, tweet us, or you can follow us on Facebook. Also, all of our episodes are available on our hosting site, Podbean. Links are in the show notes. Also, links to everything that we talked about in this episode are in the show notes where appropriate. Catch us next time for
Exo Manowar, Volume 11, The Kill List.